Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today is going to be kind of a more of a rant or a vlog, just some things I've been thinking about, probably because I've been in the throes of trying to get my wife to help me pack and, get everything packed up to move. And I'm going through all these games and strategy guides and consoles and, DVDs and everything. She's like, God, are you going to actually play all these games? Are you going to watch all these movies? We're just collecting all this crap. But see, my wife is... She doesn't like, she has a couple keepsakes that she likes to hang on to, very few, but most things she has no sentimental value towards. She's into what's new and likes the latest new phone with the apps, and I mean, she's a younger generation, where actually the end of the baby boomer generation. The end of it's in 64, I was born in 62, so I'm actually the same generation as my dad, which is odd. So I'm considered one of those evil boomers. I'm the responsible for ruining the planet and all this stuff, and which I have no guilt whatsoever for it. I'm just a little guy that scraped and worked hard physically doing shit jobs to just try to, squeak out a modest living and to just have fun like everybody else. I'm not there to ruin anyone's day. I'm not responsible for the wars and ruining the planet and all this stuff. I mean, people get carried away with this hyperbolic black and white. It's got to be one way or the other. And I see this not just with gaming. I see it. I'm on the internet. And you'll see it in car. I watch a lot of car YouTube videos. From car reviews and automotive news in the industry. I watch a lot of really kind of in-depth analysis of what's happening in the automotive industry, behind the scenes, things a lot of people wouldn't see with manufacturers and where they're getting their parts and what's happening behind the scenes, and investors and the unions. And it's very interesting. There's a lot of shit that goes on that we don't see. And, and the consumers are kind of driving the interest in what's coming in the future. But there also is a lot of over-regulation. Now, I don't want to get into a heavy thing on cars, but I'm just saying that there's an interesting overlapping parallel dimension, I notice, with gaming, with movie collecting, with cars, basically with our interests, with our hobbies or what have you. I'm a car guy, as many of you know. Now, I know with millennials, they aren't into cars as much. In fact, I just read an article 2 nights ago, and a lot of millennials like moving to Boise, Idaho. I read a lot of articles, and because I'm interested in moving to Boise, Idaho, now my Google News comes up with all these top 10 reasons to move to Boise and why it's one of the #1 cities in the country to move to, all this stuff. I read an interesting article why millennials like and yet hate Boise, Idaho, and they said they love it because it has the microbreweries and they can kind of live downtown. There's a real bicycle community, kind of like Portland, Oregon. So a lot of people can ride their bikes to work. There's a beautiful green belt that follows a river. People can ride their bikes to and from work and on the weekends, and I like that. I like a lot of that. I'd like to return to that if I can get my back functioning again, where I could ride a bicycle again. It'd be a great way to lose weight. I'd like to kind of return to my youth and ride bikes again outdoors, maybe get a mountain bike, kind of a his and hers bikes, and ride with my wife. I think it'd be great. And I see why millennials like it, because there's a lot of nice little urban eateries and bistros, and there's a lot of that there. But they don't like it because millennials, by and large, aren't into cars. They don't want to drive. They don't even want to own a car. And so they want to rely on public transportation, which there's very little of there, amazingly. The buses, at 7 o'clock, shut down, that's it. Weekends, they don't run or whatever, so they're really behind the times. And because it's more of a spread out urban, suburban community, and people kind of commute, you really have to have a car. But just because I like cars doesn't mean that, my daughter and her millennial generation has to like cars as much. And my daughter drives and actually likes driving, likes cars, because I raised her to like cars. And so she's been in my Corvette at over 150 miles an hour and was yawning. I mean, she's been in a lot of cars and been to car shows, and I've exposed her to a lot of that. And the whole JDM culture, she got into that for a while. One of her boyfriends was into JDM, Mitsubishis and stuff. So she has a pretty good, well-rounded taste in cars, and she drives a little SUV Mitsubishi thing. I don't know what it's called. There's so many names to them now, but she likes it. It's reliable for her, and that's great, I don't know that she'll get a sports car or muscle car or anything like that, but she certainly likes my car and likes to talk about cars from time to time. She was asking me about what kind of car to get next and everything. But, kids are moving away from, they're getting more SUVs and kind of utilitarian type vehicles. And of course, it's, the electric cars and the EV thing is really coming in. It's coming in for two reasons. One, there's a younger generation that wants to protect the environment. They think they're doing good by the environment by buying these EV cars, but there's a whole other argument as to how the batteries are made and the mining and making them, and actually they're much worse for the planet, at least right now, until they find a cheaper way to make these batteries, and then disposing of them, the half-life or the shelf, or how long it takes for these batteries to degrade. I mean, I'm not so convinced that they say a well-maintained internal combustion engine actually uses a lot less resources and is better for the planet. That's another whole argument, and there's science that backs up, different ways of looking at both sides of that. But to me, there's room for both. I would never drive one. I have no interest. To me, a Tesla is like a washing machine. It's like having a cell phone. It's an appliance. The whole thing is built around a tablet. So people that are brought up on these damn phones and iPhones and tablets, they love them. Because it's got a 17-inch fucking tablet. They can sit and play with a car and play video games, and the car drives itself. They're lazy. They don't want to do anything. They can have everything right now. The thing updates constantly. It's basically a cheaply made appliance. If you've ever looked at them up close, the panel gaps aren't good. The quality of the paint job is not very good on them. The materials, it looks like it's well made for something that's like here today. Kind of like this phone is. It's well made. It's nice looking. It has a lot of good performance, but it's only going to last a couple of years. That's it. That's kind of how these new cars are made. And there's a generation that's brought up on this disposable gadgets in society. We used to have an old fridge for years and years and years, and why I got rid of it, I still don't know. Because I wanted to have an ice maker. I've always wanted one. Because to me, I was always like, I would get a car with roll-up windows. I'd just get a simple fridge with no ice maker or water maker in the door. I just like kind of a less is more. It's just one less thing to break down, and I kind of like that aspect of it. To me, it's just nice having something that you can count on that's not going to be breaking down. The luxury cars I've had, my God, they're in the shop all the time. Just all the gadgets and electric doodads that just want more shit to break and to spend fucking money on. We finally bought a fridge with a ice maker, and we had nothing but problems. We got rid of it. We were calling a repair guy like 3 times a year, and finally I just said, fuck this thing. And a perfectly good fridge. I just said, just take it. I don't want it. $2,500 refrigerator. So we bought another one for another $2,400 or whatever. Samsung this time. It's got problems. We just had the fridge guy here. This is the 3rd time in 2 years he's been here to fix it. But this time we were smart. We got the extended warranty, so it's all free. And they completely replace there's an inner memo from Samsung. Anyone calls and complains, we'll get you all new guts. You get a whole new computer module. You get a whole new ice maker. Tray, everything's new. And they replace it for free. I'm like, well, good, until the next one breaks. So I'm seeing a pattern with this. And the appliance guy, they said, dude, it doesn't matter if you get a Sub-Zero that's, 10 grand or 15,000, or whether you get a $2,500 one, they're all shit. They all break. All the ice makers are bad on every single model. It's a matter of time, and you're going to be replacing something. And we're seeing this with the cars. The reason why cars are so, you can't even get a car for less than 40 or 50 grand now. The cars that were $20,000 a few years ago are now like $45,000 and up. And it's crazy how expensive, because everyone's going to have the adaptive cruise control and seat warmers and side impact airbag shits and automatic driving functions. You can summon your own goddamn car out of the parking space and back it up, and then let's watch it park itself. And I don't need all that shit. When I bought my Challenger, you can't get roll-up windows anymore, but I said, I don't want seat warmers. I don't want a sunroof. I don't want electric steering. I don't want more PCMs and processors controlling the car. I got the last year of the old style Challenger that had the hydraulic steering, came with a real spare tire. The last year came with a fucking CD player with a hard drive. You can rip up to 9,700 songs on CD, and it sounds much better. I love my CD collection. No one can convince me MP3s sound better, because they don't. The bit rate is much better on them. They sound better. If you have a good stereo, you really can tell the difference. and I'll never get rid of it. I like the things that I like, and I bought an older car. I want the newest car that had the last model of that year style. So they refined it, kind of like an SV Lamborghini. You get the last year is called the SV edition, and it was the best engine. And they've refined that model, and that's the last year of that model, and it's the best one. Those typically are the ones you want to get, and I always try to buy the last body style of every car because it's the one they've perfected until the new one comes out. You never want to get that, like this new C8 Corvette. You don't want to buy the first one. They're going to have problems. They're going to learn from the mistakes they made the first couple of years. You want to get one 3-4 years down the road. And by then, they've got faster, better ones. They've perfected it. They have new parts that supersede, parts that they found out later didn't work as well, whatever. It's the same thing with gaming and consoles. We got all this talk with this new Xbox Series X, which, looks very powerful. And I'm all for quality. I want the high frame rates. I love the graphics and the frame rates and the ray tracing and the realistic light God rays. I love all of that, and I'm glad that console guys are finally getting something that's good. But I still want to play my shit offline. I've got into so many debates with people in the comment section over some of these consoles coming out, and I said, as long as I don't have to rely on the cloud and I can play my shit offline, it's all good. Oh, you're one of those offline, I bet you like physical media too. I go, as a matter of fact, I do. And it's like they have to feel that, well, streaming's the future and the cloud, and your way's done. You can kiss your physical media goodbye. It's going out. It's like they want to see it go away. It's like they're irritated because the new shit, the little gimmick or gadget that they think is so cool on Instagram, they want it to be the in thing and to last, and it ain't going to last. Shit will keep evolving and changing, but my thing is, let them have both. If someone wants to drive a $70,000 Tesla, let them. But there's a lot of these angry, almost cult-like following of this Elon Musk and Tesla. God forbid you say anything against that new Tesla truck online. You'll have a mob come after you. And it's like they want, your days are done. You boomers ruined the planet. You can kiss your internal combustion engine goodbye. And I'm like, look, you want to drive that shit, that's great. Go ahead. I don't want to see self-driving cars in my lifetime. Not with my family on the road, no. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. You mark my words, the day will come. They're already crashing, Teslas are crashing into police cars, they're summoning them in parking lots, they're going down the wrong way and hitting other cars. It's just not there yet, and it probably won't be for some time. They're way underestimating how complex it is. The human mind is far superior. When I'm driving, I'm thousands of micro decisions I'm making a second. I'm seeing a guy pulling out of a Chevron station. I'm seeing him through the glass. I'm seeing I'm profiling him to see what kind of a guy this guy is. Does he look like a wino, a drunk who's not paying attention, who's going to pull out? Does it look like a housewife that's in the middle of texting? If so, I'm already ready to jump over a lane. I'm weighing out. A car with automated shit can't discern these kind of things. The people, they want to replace all the existing technology with new technology, thinking it's better. They like to sing the praises of and worship the God of technology. And I've said it so many times. Just because something is new doesn't mean it's worth embracing. There's lots of new things I think are great. Look, we watched Amazon Prime. We watched a movie, I think it was called Arctic, with a guy that was one of the actors in that Death Stranding movie. This Norwegian guy. He did a great job. Filmed in Iceland. He's crashed a plane in the Arctic and was trying to get out. And this other helicopter pilot, it was a woman, husband and wife team crashed, and the wife survived, and he kind of dragged her out of it. He's trying to save her, realized he just needs to go to help because no one's ever going to help him. And it's a really arduous trip across the Arctic by himself, dragging this woman, these polar bears, and all the shit that's going on. It's really a great movie. It's not the kind of a film I probably would buy a physical Blu-ray or DVD of and have in my collection, but it was good to watch once. And I think I sing the praises of Netflix or Amazon Prime for that. It's perfect for that. It's kind of like going to a movie rental thing. You can just watch something, but it's very limited. People think, everything you need is on Netflix. No. There's a minute fraction of what I have in my collection is on Netflix instant streaming. Now, we have the thing where you can rent one disc at a time. In fact, we just got the hell was it? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino film. A great film. It really exceeded my expectations. In fact, that's a film that I will be getting a physical Blu-ray of. I've already watched all the behind the scenes and deleted scenes and everything. Really a good film. Really enjoyed it. Because I'm so broke right now, I ordinarily would have gone out and just bought that day one at Best Buy, brought it home, unwrapped it, put it in and watched it. But because I don't have the money right now, so we'll just get just from Netflix. So it's not available for streaming yet, but we get one disc at a time. So we submitted the thing, and 3 days later it comes in the mail, and we watched it, and we sent it back, and then we get another. We get like Godzilla, War of the Monsters or something we're going to watch this weekend. I'll be the next one in the queue. And then I think there's Ed Astra, there's another one that we have in our queue after that. So it's a great way to kind of watch things that are new, and it's good. I mean, Netflix is good. Amazon Prime has some really good movies and stuff on it, but it's like here today, and then a month later, the stuff in the queue that we never got to watch, it's gone. So, and people, they don't realize how many thousands and thousands. I mean, I've got over 5,000 movies in my collection, and I feel like I barely scratched the surface. There's a hell of a lot more that I have not seen or don't own in my collection. And I don't know if I'll ever own it. I have to really slow down collecting. I mean, get maybe 2 or 3 movies a year now versus getting 2 or 3 a week for 52 weeks like I was before. I can't afford it. But I got a big enough collection that I can watch a different movie every night for the rest of my life and not see them all. Same with my games. I mean, not near as many games, but I like having these physical games. There's no reason why we can't continue to have these. And if the reproduction carts, that's great. The fact that we can play it on original hardware is great. The fact you can play it through emulation on a flat screen, it's great. I like options. But don't take away my right to have my physical media because you're an advocate of the cloud or streaming or the Stadia, Google Stadia thing. I laughed at the Stadia thing. I've seen us on live. I've seen all these attempts before. We don't have the infrastructure here yet. We don't have it. We don't have the 5G radio towers, cell towers everywhere to even do a lot of the 5G technology to spread it out like with automated cars. It's an archaic infrastructure in this country. My internet, we have the best, and even then it's spotty at best. So to me, I like these physical games. You cannot tell me otherwise. I mean, now with the newer games, it is what it is. I mean, this game may be worthless offline years later without an update. I might not be able to play this. I don't know. I can't worry about everything, but I'm doing my best. I got a 4 terabyte external hard drive. I back them all up in the hard drive, plus all the DLC. The fact that the PlayStation 5 is coming and it's backwards compatible, at least with a PlayStation 4, is great. That means I can probably take that hard drive and everything and transfer all that shit over to the new thing. As long as I can kind of keep it all going, somehow hanging on to it as best I can, I'll do it. The 7th gen may be really the last physical media foray. And even then, like games like Dead Island and a lot of games that came later, that needed a patch or you're fucked. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but thank God that I've got these games that I have and the PlayStation 2 games, and it's a beautiful thing. I like collecting these and having them. I don't know why I can't be allowed to collect physical things because someone feels it's more important to have streaming. It's this all or nothing, feast or famine. I call it feces or famine, as I call it, because it just drives me crazy. It's like shit or nothing at all. I mean, it's like you can't have it both ways. It's the same thing with the cars. And one of the reasons why we're leaving California, I talked to a guy earlier this year. We painted his house. Big car collector. Had a huge metal building. I mean, a real boomer. It was like major money. Beautiful land, acres of land. I said, dude, you got a beautiful home. He said, yeah, we're probably going to sell and leave the state. I go, why? You got it made. You've spent years building this huge shop, and you can house. You've got a beautiful collection of cars, and I mean, I could never hope to have a fraction of what this guy has. And he says, well, my truck, he had a truck like mine, but it was like 2 years older. And he said, yeah, my truck, it's got, almost 200,000 miles on it. I want to get one of the new Dodge trucks, but with a Hemi, but I don't know. I mean, with this, what California's doing here in the near future, I go, what's going on with California? He said, well, dude, in 10 years, they want to get rid of the internal combustion engine. They want them off the roads, and they will penalize people that are still driving them. So what's that's going to do to the poor, my Mexican gardener that, can barely afford the beat-up piece of shit that he has? What, he has to go out and get a Tesla or a Nissan Leaf? I mean, he can't afford something like that. Are they going to have trucks that he can afford to buy to keep his landscaping business going? Probably not. I can't afford them even. I mean, the modest wages I made. I mean, I don't see what people are supposed to do, and it's this, feces or famine mindset that drives me crazy. It's like all or nothing, and it's like, why can't we have both? You want to drive your electric, quiet cars? To me, they're non-cars. There's like no soul to them at all. Even driving like the newer Challengers, electric steering, it's like dead. It's like driving Gran Turismo Sport. There's no road feedback you get anymore. I like my old hydraulic steering. This is why classic Lamborghinis, Maseratis, Ferraris, Porsches, even old Corvettes, the older C3 and C4 Corvettes are starting to become more collectible now. People are returning to analog cars that have a manual gearbox and hydraulic steering, or even better yet, no power, manual steering, where you can feel the road and you can feel the car, rotating, and you feel alive. You feel it. It's an extension of you, the car. That's why, like the Mazda Miatas are so popular, because they just it's a pure, simplistic sports car. They're not even that fast, but you feel connected with the car and the road, with the open road and the convertible top down. I mean, I used to laugh at those Miatas. Now I kind of see why people like them. I'd like to get one myself, or to get an older, 350Z Nissan that has the older analog steering and road feel, because I miss that. So many people today, those cars are shit. I don't like that old steering. They're all outdated. The cars they're just not as fast. I mean, everything's got to be 1,000 horsepower an hour. It's nothing at all. I got a car that's almost 400 horsepower, and it's like, look, the snobs look down at it like it's a piece of shit, because it's not 700 and something horsepower like the Hellcat. You should have got the Hellcat, my brother-in-law. Should have got the Hellcat. I don't understand. Why would you get the little one, Well, dude, it's what I can afford. I live within my means, my friend, and I live with what I can afford. I can pay this car off easily. A Hellcat's going to take me twice as long to pay off, and it's just more shit to break. And I don't need to go to jail, and I would definitely be locked up with a car like that. Especially where I live, you just can't get away with it. You can't do it. And I don't have that much self-control with that kind of power, so I'm happy with the things I have. I just don't understand this all or nothing. It's like they want to, get all internal combustion off the road. They can't coexist. They can't, the guys that like the streaming and that want to just get all their digital games. They have a new Xbox. That's why they were testing the market out with that Xbox One, all digital. Amazingly, it was more expensive than the disc model. I don't understand why, but I think Microsoft is testing the waters. They want to see, because they get shot down in 2013 when they first announced with the Kinect, the Xbox One, and more of the DRM, always online thing and all that. I'm hoping that we won't have that with the next PS5 and the next Xbox. As long as we can still play the games offline, I'll be on board. Whether I'll get in the new Xbox thing or the PS5, and realistically, I'll probably can only afford one, because I already got the 100 games for the PS4, and I know I can play those on the PS5. I'll more than likely get the PS5. But I'm all for, a more powerful console with the Xbox One. It's fine. Or the Xbox 2020, as I call it. Maybe I can afford both down the road. We'll see. I don't know. But I like my physical media. I intentionally bought the last year of the 3D TVs. And I hated 3D at first because I was looking at the old 3D back in Jaws 3 in the old days with the cheap paper glasses. Until I saw the Mad Max Fury Road, the only time I'd ever seen a 3D movie in person at a theater. And was completely blown away. And I think I saw the Godzilla movie a year or two ago in 3D with the glasses. My mouth was hanging open. And I couldn't go out fast enough and buy a $4,000 TV because I wanted And I bought, I've got about 20 or so 3D movies. There's not a lot of them that I like available in 3D, but luckily the new Blu-ray players still can play the 3D Blu-rays, and I still have my, Samsung 3D TV now. And now what's interesting is people are going out of their way to buy a 2015 JS8500 Samsung or JS9000 Samsung because they are the last good quality 4K HDR 3D TV. So I'm seeing a trend that not everything that's new, everyone's accepting. People are going backwards now to buy older consoles and to collect older games. They're going back and modding, PlayStation 2s and, and old Xboxes and Xbox 360s so they can play all of these great games and have these and own their experiences. They're going back and buying older analog cars because they miss feeling something. We're on an age where everyone's over medicated with drugs and Xanax and anti-bipolar meds and anti-anxiety drugs, and everyone's just numb. We're in an instant age where everything is Instagram, everything's instant. You gotta have it right now. People can't wait. Oh, I gotta download this game. It's crazy. It's gonna make you wait an hour to play my game. God forbid. Like I said, just come home, put the game on, let it install, and just do something else and forget about it. It goes with the territory. Eventually, it will be installed with the updates and everything, and you'll be able to play it like you could a 360 game like that. It's really not that big of a deal. But we're in this age where people are so impatient. They got to have it all right now. And it's almost like little kids that just can't wait for supper. Honey, we're going to have supper in 30 minutes. I don't care. I want a cookie and milk now, Well, no, honey, you need to wait until you have your dinner, and then you can have dessert afterwards. But that's the way I raised my daughter. Of course, we don't want to do that today. You're being cruel. You got to let the kids have whatever they want. It's important. And that we're ruining our children. We're ruining our homes. We're frankly ruining technology. And people aren't even buying cars anymore. They're too lazy. They want to sit up higher and drive a crossover SUV because they want to be above everyone else. But now everyone's above everyone. Everyone's driving the same cars. So now Ford and Chevy aren't making really good sedans anymore. It's like there's only a couple car companies left making sedans because everyone wants these big corpulent SUVs that are, huge and have tons of room. And soccer mom with one infant is going to buy this, Chevy Suburban or Cadillac Escalade. It's like 7,000 pounds. It drives me crazy. It's a very interesting age we live in. Very interesting. I don't get it. I really don't. I think my wife is, let me check my text. My wife has some good news she's been trying to share with me here. Let me check this real quick. Text. Here we go with the texting. Oh, this is from my friend Phil. Just picked up at Goodwill. You were saying this PS2 version is the best one. He's a Need for Speed. Is his text right there. Yeah. Yes, Phil. Or I'll say Bud. Yes, Bud. The better one. He's a great guy. I like Phil. He's a really cool dude. And it's nice. I like the phones for the texting. And there's a lot of things I like. But, I can't get my daughter to call me. She won't call. You call, she goes right to voicemail. You text her, she'll text you right back. It's like we're in an age where no one wants to pick the phone up. No one wants to get together. I was like amazed, my friend Phil, you want to drive all the way over here and see me? I'd love it. Almost like I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, he's actually going to make the journey. If I could have driven with my back, I would have loved to have driven over to the Bay Area for the day and enjoyed a drive over there in my Challenger, but I just can't do it right now. But it was nice having him, and it was nice visiting with a real person that you could talk to and have a beer with and shoot the shit, and I miss that. We're in an age where we're getting away from the things that made gaming great, that made driving great, that made technology great, all in the name of advancement, and I just don't see it's better. I have a lot of DVDs and movies that you cannot get streaming anywhere, period. You can't get them, especially TV shows. You cannot get them. And even more so, I have even more VHS cassettes and rare movies like The Keep from Michael Mann that you can't even get on DVD, let alone Blu-ray or streaming. Actually, you could stream it at one time for a short period of time. It was on Netflix and they took it off quick. Universal for a short while had it on Netflix. I was like amazed. I put it in my queue. I went to watch it, gone. You know, I went to watch the clone things. It was Pixar animation. Lucasfilm did the Clone Wars or whatever, that series from Star Wars, which were Lucas actually authorized. Started watching, oh, these are great. And now I want to watch them. I watched like 4 episodes. They took it off from Netflix. So now I'm going to have to spend a small fortune. They're really expensive on DVD, but I will someday. I'll have the money, and I will buy the DVD box set of those because I would love to go through that entire series. It's a beautiful series. I love the animation. I love the fact that it goes into more of that Star Wars universe. And again, it's because they're physical. I mean, I bought this Miami Vice on DVD. I gave my DVDs away to a friend, and now I've got the Blu-rays. This is a fantastic collection. I absolutely cherish this and love these, that I can see a moment in time of the 80s. I grew up watching every single episode I watched live on NBC on Friday night. And now I can watch them anytime I want, watch a half an episode, go take a dump, come back, finish the episode, or finish it a month later, whatever I want. It's a beautiful thing. I like that. I like watching what I want to watch when I want to watch it. I like listening to my music as I want to listen to it. It's great. I have one CD right here. Where's Blade Runner soundtrack. Sometimes I go to sleep at night. My radio station is kind of fuzzy. It doesn't come in. I shut it off. I just put this on repeat and listen to like the Blade Runner soundtrack. You know, I love CDs. I have recently got the Terminator and Star Wars and a lot of other really good soundtracks. And I love listening to soundtracks in classical and jazz. On CD, the bit rate is great. It's so good. I mean, no one will ever be able to tell me that physical media is worse or not as good as, you know, streaming or the cloud. It's just, I'll never believe it. They just don't know any better. They don't really, haven't read into it that much and don't realize what they're missing. And I will always stand behind it. I think a good portion of my viewers are probably collectors and appreciate physical media. Like my friend Solid Rev, he likes a lot of the newer games. He'll like these newer games and we'll play them. And he likes, like, you know, excuse me, Max Payne 3. He likes the Dead Space games, some of those older 7th gen games. But I mean, and that's why I gave him a brand new Xbox 360, because I said, dude, believe me, just buy a dozen or so. Just get your favorites, because you're going to, someday you may not be able to play them on the Xbox One or One X, and at least you'll be able to play them. And I recently, I don't want to disclose what I did, but I gave someone else another retro console and some games, a younger millennial, in fact, because I was so excited that he was interested in collecting old games. I didn't think he wanted to. And when he expressed an interest in it, I said, look, I want you to have this. Oh, dude, I can't accept that. I said, I want you to have this. This is something that you can build on. This is your childhood. When you were a kid, these consoles were out. And someday you're going to want to collect a little, just have some games for them. You'll enjoy the product. And he was so thankful. He's going to do a video soon showing that, what I gave him and whatever. It's a couple of things, but I want the younger generation to get into game collecting. I think it's great. You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of scalpers and people that like buy those limited run games just with the sole purpose of tripling their money on eBay. And to me, they're just whores. I've seen the same dynamic in the car industry. When I was into restoration of old cars, they'd go and they'd buy up all the old shit and sell it for 4 times what it's worth, and then destroy or buy everything up so no one else could have it but them. They wanted to corner the market and you know, screw people out of it. I mean, that's a form of capitalism I just can't get into and don't abide by. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I know that's I was all over the map with this, getting into cars and TVs and technology, but to me, man, this is heavy as fuck, but these owning the history of every James Bond movie from 1962 to the present, Daniel Craig ones, and, you know, Pierce Brosnan and all of them are very exciting. I think it's so cool. And I feel like I own a piece of history. I can see, now I'm not into collecting vinyl records anymore, but I can see why people do it. They want to hear the analog sound with the pops and the cracks and the skips and everything. To me, I like CDs. I don't want to go back that far to cassettes or vinyl, but I can respect it. And someday I'd like to get another old receiver and have an old stereo receiver and to smell the sound of it when you turn the power on, smell those tubes and everything. There's something about it that's just magical. I mean, people that are into it know. And someday, a lot of these people are going to wish They could return to their games or favorite movie or childhood thing or anime or whatever, and owning the physical copy of it really is going to be probably the only, and the technology to be able to play them, movies or music or games, is going to be paramount. And people will pay a much higher premium. I see game prices going up even higher down the road as we get into more of a digital age. I'm seeing it with cars. Car prices with these older cars that were just throwaway cars just a decade ago are now, I mean, climbing like crazy in price because people miss driving an old analog sports car. You can't get it. Yeah, they can buy these Lamborghini Aventadors and Huracans and what have you, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds and all this shit, but they're numb. You drive them, it's like playing a video game. They don't have the same sound as like a raw V12, or an older 355 Ferrari with the sound of that little six-cylinder. I mean, there's something about those older motors and just the sound of the gear, everything just working together is a real authentic, it's an experience. You can't explain it. The smells, the sounds, I mean, the vibration you get through the shifter, all of it. It's just something I miss, and I miss so much. I wish I had hung on to some of my older cars, and I can't go back with my bad back. I can't restore cars anymore. So, and I certainly can't afford people to work on them around the clock because they break down a lot. But I have good memories. At least I can look back on those. But I am glad for my physical library. Thank God for physical media. Guys, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about physical media? I know not everyone is into collecting. I know some people do it to a point. But let me know how you feel about the future. Will you be embracing it? Do you care about collecting? Do you care about physical media at all? Whether it's movies, music, or games. I really would love to know and have a discussion on it in the comments. I love your comments very much and do appreciate them. It's just a little vlog I want to get out. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. I've seen a lot of real hostile attitudes towards the things that I like and the things a lot of my friends like. And it's like, look, I mean, I'm all for you having your streaming and your online multiplayer and games as a service. That's fine, but just don't take away my right to enjoy my offline single player games and experiences, or my movies and things that I like physically. Some people like to collect things, and I'm one of them. So thanks, guys. Enjoy your collections and your games, and enjoy the new year ahead.